Imagine you move from a place where you lived all your life. Imagine you move and you leave all your children and wife. Starting all over again, but no one you know is around. Well, they didn't have to imagine. They built it up from the ground. How does it sound? Not easy cause it isn't. Could have phased them, but it didn't. But the raid bond, that's a winner. And they ran straight to the finish. You get to know them up close and personal. Wait, just give me a minute. Welcome to the front row. Can I get a drum roll? Intentional. We may be immigrants, but we are still intentional. We are dependable. It's just that set the bar, but still the best of all, we are intentional.
Welcome to the Intentional Immigrants channel. I'm your host, Yolanda Jack. Today we'll be continuing our focus on what I wish I knew before migrating. Today's guest, Helen Zara, has international experience in hospitality and tourism, having worked in Dubai, USA, and Canada. Let's listen as Helen tells her story. But just before Helen comes to us, I'm reminding you to like, share, and subscribe to the Intentional Immigrants channel, which is available on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Podbean. We also have a website, which is www.intentionalimmigrants.com. Let's listen as Helen shares her story. Hi, Helen. Welcome to the Intentional Immigrants podcast. I'm so happy that you're able to join me here today. Thank you for sharing your story.
I am happy as well, and I'm very humbled and honored for having me. Thank you so much.
Okay. Helen, give us a little bit about your background. Where are you from? Where do you presently reside, etc.?
My name is Helen Zara. I came from Philippines, and I graduated from Bachelor's in Hotel and Restaurant Management. And right now I'm staying and living here in Fort McMurray, Alberta for about 7 years now. But before coming to Alberta, actually before working overseas from the Philippines, I was hired to Dubai. I worked in a 5-star hotel, yes. And my greatest achievement in Dubai was I became, that was my very first overseas experience for about 2 years and 3 months. That's my greatest achievement there was I became Employee of the Year.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I went back to the Philippines, my dad was like standing up, so proud of your daughter. Yeah, but anyhow, it wasn't it was very good experience, lots of training that had brought me to the US.
Okay, so tell us about your journey into the US.
Into the US, this is the very interesting part actually, how I ended up going to the US, because as a little girl, I thought only people who are rich can go to the US. Much more here in Canada. Yeah, so after going back home from Dubai, I went home. I have kids already at that time.
Okay.
But at that, when I went home, that was the point that I was staying for good. That's why I ended up having my youngest son, Michelangelo. Yeah, so after giving birth, I was applying in some hotels in Manila. So during my interview, when the manager found out that I came from Dubai, he ended up saying, oh, people from overseas, they work here and then just leave, just move again back to work abroad. I said, my intention to come back, I just give birth to my 3rd child, is to stay in the Philippines for good.
Yeah.
But no, it didn't work out well, my interview. Said, I can hire you, but no, I can't. So that hotel was in Manila, just close by the US Embassy.
Okay.
So I went out the building like a little bit frustrated. I just told myself, this is not for me. So I went out on that hotel, and then the next building beside there was like flooded of people, like men, mostly men, a few ladies. So I was thinking they were like, the seamen working in the cruise ship. That was I was thinking. And there was a big sign of the agency, Northwest. And they were like encircling that long, big blackboard. So out of curiosity, I went to check. 23 hotels to the US hiring.
Wow.
And I told myself, oh my God, I am qualified. But where I'm going to get the money?
Yeah.
And my babies,
Yeah.
But at that moment, I said, today's my interview for that hotel, and this is happening. So, you know how our country, I have to pay the application form for 10 pesos 2 weeks after they called me. It was boom, 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 boom. I was in the US in 6 months. But in that quick span, the big mountains were big. That until this very moment, that made me believe that there is God.
Yes.
Because at the middle of my application, I was backing out. Like all the principal interviewers arrived at the Manila hotel for my final interview. At 2 a.m., I was looking at the kids. I was crying. I said, no, I can't leave these kids. So I had to talk to my parents. But I ended up talking to my dad. It was like an emotional conversation. My dad said, Helen, I've been waiting for you to talk to me. When our parents are there, they are there, but we don't talk to them like heart-to-heart talk.
Heart-to-heart, yeah.
So I told my dad, this is what's happening right now. I'm in the middle of my processing. I was looking at the kids this morning at 2 a.m. I can't go. I'm backing out. My dad was in tears. He looked at me 3 times. He said, Helen, move on with your life. You'll be fine. The kids will be fine. Go to your interview tomorrow. We will be here for you.
Oh my, that's nice.
End of the conversation. I went to my interview. And it was really fun interview. That the interviewer asked me to pick 23 hotels in the US. I picked Florida. That's how I ended up being in Florida. So my first contract. Sorry?
How long did you work in Florida for?
I worked there for more than a year.
More than a year?
Yes.
Okay.
No. More than 2 years, sorry. I worked there for more than 2 years. I was working with Marriott Orlando. I worked with Kansas City, Missouri during Obama's election. He was there in our hotel where I worked. When I went back to Florida, I worked with Epcot Disney. At the Epcot Disney. That's where I got my first promotion. After 1 month of working there, they thought I was a landed immigrant. They didn't know that I was a temporary worker. So they promoted me to be a supervisor. But it was good. It was a quick span of time to be on that position. It was good. I said, this is the biggest hotel I've ever worked. But I can't compare the 5-star that I work in Dubai. It's a palace. It's beautiful. So in the US, as a temporary worker, we have 3 years to work. You have 2 options. To be a manager, to fix your papers, or to get married. Getting married is not my option. So before my contract in the US finished, I learned my other friends were coming to Canada. I said, why are you crossing to Canada? I don't know if you heard about the G8 event 2008.
Okay.
The resort, they were hiring from temporary workers only from the US.
Okay.
Yeah, so I asked my friend, can you give me a number? I will inquire. So I called that same day. It's like I was telling the receiver, I just wanted to inquire. My friends are coming already to Canada. And then I just wanted to inquire. And then she quickly interviewed me. And then few minutes, she told me, Helen, fax, email, send me all your credentials. You're hired. What? It was like, and then didn't even ask me for what you call this placement fee, just the general consulate fee. After a year, oh no, after a month, I was here in Canada. I can't believe.
Wow. Where did you go in Canada?
I was in Ontario. That was the resort where the G8 event, where the 8 big countries was happening. It was the most beautiful experience. I've seen Obama flying down to the golf course. I've seen submarines behind the lake. The president of Italy, Germany, the big countries, Germany, Japan, Canada, of course, that was Harper the time. Okay. And before the event started, a day before, all the staff will have the opportunity to walk around all those dignitaries' locations that they're going to have the event. And it was 3,000 more than militaries was in Huntsville, Ontario. Okay. It was packed. There were like sniper on top of the hotel because, it was a big event. Yeah. So that's how I came to Canada.
Okay, cool. And
so
Canada.
Yes, but the thing that I didn't know actually was about the winter. Because when I was in Florida, every time there was a winter, I still could ride my bicycle to work to the hotel. Yeah. And when there are snow, we take pictures on the trees, on the pine trees. But when I came to Canada, okay, oh my God, there's lots of pictures here. And the very first time I saw snow, it was on my birthday. And I called my brother, my sister-in-law on my laptop. I said, do you know where I am now? I'm in heaven. I'm walking in white snow.
Okay. Okay, Helen, you mentioned that you experienced snow for the first time and the temperature, the fact that it was so cold.
Yes, of course. I didn't really know that the winter here in Canada, and that was in Ontario. Not mentioning being here in Fort McMurray.
Yeah. What's the temperature your experience here in Fort Mac?
The cold here in Fort Mac?
The coldest, yes.
The coldest. Yeah. Oh, I remember. I came here 2014.
Yeah.
I live in. When I arrived here, they let me live at the hotel for 2 weeks, and then they moved me to the staff house. And the staff house is like, if I walk fast, 15 minutes. If I walk normally, it's 20 minutes.
Okay.
Minus 35, I was walking from Front Crescent to Nomad Hotel. By the time I reached to the hotel, my nose was running all over the place. That I was determined to buy an expensive jacket because that time I don't even know how to drive even a bit. I closed my eyes and paid with my paycheck my first expensive jacket. Until now, I'm using it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What other, I know that here in Fort Mac, we've also experienced up to minus 50. So that's really cool.
I hadn't experienced that one, maybe 45.
Minus 45 for you. Okay.
Maybe I was sleeping. Maybe I was sleeping when it was 50.
Okay. All right. All right. So that's your first experience. What else is it that you wish you knew?
I wish I knew that being a temporary worker, I thought it was just like about working in the hotel, wait for the paper comes. It was not.
Mm-hmm.
It was lots of prayer, lots of hard work, lots of waiting, and lots of taking and talking to the kids back home. That was the real challenge for me.
That was a real challenge. All right. So
Yes.
plus, because your kids are now with you, you were able to have them with you after all these years of separation that, you didn't get to see them. Tell us, you want to give us a little bit of background or a little bit of information on what challenges you saw or you experienced in getting your kids to join you, and how many years between the last time you saw them and when they were actually able to come and join you.
Islander, thank you so much for that question. Do you see these sacks?
Yeah.
This is the sack I was holding when I took flight to the US until I reached to Canada. This is my youngest son's sack. This was small when I left to the Philippines.
Yeah.
I showed him this and tell him the story. I bring this with me anywhere I go. This was my, I don't know. I just, until now, I'm keeping it.
Your motivation. Every time you look at the stuff, regardless of what you're going through.
Yeah. So being a temporary worker was really an honor to be a temporary worker. It was hard because we have to work hard. At some point, we are treated differently in terms of workload, perhaps sometimes.
Okay.
Yes.
That should I say more or less workload?
More. Yeah, but the thing is, the language difference.
Yeah.
It helped a lot that I even contacted my mom by long distance to thank her. We have a guest at the hotel. We were doing service to their hotel. They're a couple. And they said, you said you were here for 3 months? You speak very well in English. I said, oh, thank you very much, Mom. In the Philippines, even, we grew up poor, but we are being taught to teach, to speak English. But my mom did a really great job because when I was in college, and my other siblings were studying in college as well, my mom would tell us, okay, when you ask for allowances, you have to write it in English. And my big brother said, oh, no. No writing in English, no allowance. And then my mom would reply like, informal theme, formal theme in school. She replied, but she insert the letter with corrections. So when I was in the hotel already here working, I literally called my mom to thank her. I said, what for? For teaching us to speak English. Yeah, that's a big help.
Okay.
And I didn't know that I had to be very observant in how the actual, Canadians say the English properly. Because sometimes I am being understood of saying, what? Helen, you don't have to say what? Pardon me? Sorry. Those are the things, that simple things that matters a lot, that I might offend someone, but without knowing, I don't know that I was offending somebody already.
Okay.
But it was a good learning. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And being a temporary worker also, and getting into the process to get my kids was really, really tough. Because as far as the province here in Canada is concerned, they have different rules. I found out that like in Ontario, if you're on a higher like managerial level, or if you're a nurse, you're a caregiver, you can eventually get quickly your family. But for me as a hotel staff, like a rank and file staff, you have to find ways. That's everything that happens, there's always a reason. When my contract in Ontario ended, I worked on that resort for straight 3 years. It was very sad because while I'm thinking so much on how can I get my kids to be with me here in Canada, that was November 2013. The typhoon Yolanda, the biggest typhoon in the Philippines, came. Not Oylander, Yolanda.
Not me.
Yeah. So that was the biggest typhoon came, and I didn't have a job straight for 3 months. And the greatest obstacle that I have ever experienced, that my eldest son, Christian, was in that city where the typhoon was.
Wow. And you been so...
I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat for 4 days. Just to keep in touch with people, to find Christian. Is watching the TV that there are more than 10,000 people died already. It was heartbreaking without me a job. Yeah. So eventually, to make the story short, one person texted me, your son is okay.
Oh my, I can imagine how you...
But you know, as a mom, when somebody tells you that your son is okay, you want to hear the voice.
Yeah.
That person, until now, I keep thinking about him because he didn't even tell me his name. And then the following day, I received a message from my niece in Cebu. That's where I studied. Auntie Christian came together with the rest of the evacuees. You know, Christian, he's a skinny guy. He was so smart to go with the sick people. So he was able to take the military craft to cross to another island. It's like Jamaica, you know. So my niece said he's in one of the hotels. I just prayed hard. I Googled. Praise God. The first hotel that I called the front desk. I said, do you have some evacuees from Tacloban? And yeah, can you please trace your list if there is Christian Zara? And the guest services said, yes, ma'am, there is. Can we talk quickly? This is a long distance. I'm here in Canada. That first conversation, Christian didn't even say hello. He said, Mama, how did you find me? I said, even if you go anywhere in the world, I will find you. And that was really like, and I was in tears. And he started talking. And then that typhoon helped me expedite my another contract as a temporary worker. But I have to move to Fort McMurray. I don't know nothing about Fort McMurray. I just saw my contract that it is higher from the pay that I was being paid in Ontario. I said, I'm going there. Yeah. So, but it's always a blessing that anywhere I go, any hotel that I'm assigned, the management, they are really good to me.
That's nice.
And the people around me. Yeah. So 3 months after, our general manager, who is our area director right now, asked me, Helen, we're going to sponsor your family. Oh my God, sir, I can clean the whole building.
That's nice.
Yeah, but in between those struggles with the paperwork and stuff, back home, what was real happening was my mom passed away before I went back. Mm-hmm. Even before I flew to the US, my dad passed away.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was tough. Mm-hmm. It was tough. And the psychological adjustment that I have to do, being away from the kids that they're small, it was tough. It was tough. Yeah, so every now and then I told my supervisors before, when I was working in the hotel, guys, when you see me, I'm emotional while working, please don't bother me. Please don't talk to me, because the more I'm crying. Until I feel I was strengthened as the days goes by. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my paperwork came up to sponsor the kids from the typhoon. Mm-hmm. But there are 2 papers that I was approved, that I received from the immigration, from the typhoon and from our company. Mm-hmm. Supposed to be the kids was here already when I got my PR residence. That was 2015. Mm-hmm. But, they came here 2019. Wow. It was lots of prayers and meditation, that on my birthday, on the 18th, I called the immigration. Mm-hmm. Good thing the immigration officer was so kind, the one who answered. I said, Ma'am, I just wanted to have an important inquiries. Today is my birthday. I called on my birthday. Today is my birthday. Mm-hmm. I got my PR on 2015. Mm-hmm. And I got 2 approvals from the typhoon in the Philippines, and my company approved. I received the letters of approval that I can bring them here in Canada. Mm-hmm. How come they're with me? I'm just wondering. And really, ma'am, today is my birthday. And then the officer, I could hear her the computer. Mm-hmm. Give. She really went into all the details. She told me, Helen, I see that you're telling the truth. Mm-hmm. That was November. I will contact your agent who process all your papers. Mm-hmm. Call me. I'm giving you this personal number. Mm-hmm. If they won't get back to you by January 10th,
what year?
Call me. That was 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If they won't get back to you, call me. Mm-hmm. So right after that very day, on my birthday, after I spoke to the officer, I emailed their agent. Mm-hmm. Oh, the agent, they were just like, boom. So I called right away the officer. I said, Ma'am, they respond right away. November 2019, Christian was here.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then I have to do it, because of time and budget management. I have to take the first one first, and then the 2 boys. But it was also a challenge, because the COVID came. Mm-hmm. There were like 4 cancellations for their flights. They're supposed to arrive here May, June, July, August, but they arrived August.
In 2020, right?
2020. Yeah, it was just like all the heavens are open.
Yes, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure being reunited with your kids it makes whatever you went through, make it feel worthwhile now. The fact that you were able to have all your kids together with you.
Yes, we have so much of adjustment. You see, even if as a mom, I talk to them every day. but they're growing young adults. This is the real adjustment, and I love it. The struggle, I love it.
Okay, that's nice.
But
right.
yeah.
Helen, what advice would you give to immigrants who are thinking of coming to Canada, US, England, wherever? What advice would you give to immigrants?
My honest advice for all who are planning or wanting to come at first as a temporary worker, first ask yourself, is this my purpose in life? Is this really I wanted to do in my life? Because on my own experience, if you have that questions, no obstacles can hinder you to be a success.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Helen, thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, and I am encouraged by your journey, having been a part of it a bit. Seeing your determination, your patience, your persistence, your faith. Thank you for being able to showcase that experience so that others can be inspired, motivated, and encouraged, which is
my pleasure.
We do. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Intentional Immigrants channel. Our appreciation goes to the following persons who made today's episode possible. Our guest, Helen Zara, Xavier Anderson for providing music. As always, I'm your host, Yolanda Jack, reminding you, he who watches the wind will not sow. He who watches the clouds will not reap. Ecclesiastes 11 and verse 4. You were born for greatness. Step out into your greatness so that mankind can benefit from you being here. So long, until next time.
Intentional. We may be immigrants, but we are still intentional. We are dependable. It's just that set the bar, but still the best of all.